Welcome to U.S. Defense Line Channel. Countries took action. Unexpected moves from NATO began to come one after another. The war takes a different turn. After the United States, many NATO countries took action. Danger bells are ringing on the Russian side. Moscow is about to panic. Moreover, Chechen leader Kadyr0v, one of his rare supporters, also made critical claims. Great reactions rained down on the Chechen leader. Russia is cornered. Moreover, now there are many countries, not just Ukraine, against it. Russian President Putin may regret that he started this war at any moment. As it is known, one of the biggest and strongest supporters of Ukraine is the United States of America. Moreover, it is known that NATO supports Ukraine. Many NATO members can change the course of the war with their support for Ukraine. One of Russia's rare supporters is Chechen leader Kadyr0v. It is known that this name has good relations with Russian leader Putin. In fact, Kadyr0v sent thousands of his army to the fronts in Ukraine, causing great reactions. But on the face of these steps, he may face an uprising in the country at any moment. Since these soldiers were sent to the regions where the war was the most difficult for Russia, they either sought a place to escape or suffered great losses. We can say that this happened because the army was involved in a war that had nothing to do with it for nothing. In addition, these problems caused both the internal turmoil towards Kadyr0v to increase and the reaction from many important names. Critical Kadyr0v statement was made by Alexei Danilov, Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine. Chechen leader attracted all eyes with his critical statements about Kadyr0v. Danilov gave an important warning to Kadyr0v, stating that he should get out of the war in Ukraine as soon as possible and deal with the turmoil in his own region. Moreover, Kadyr0v's involvement in the war could end badly for himself. This will cause him to regret supporting Russia. In addition, since this attitude in the war is not approved in its own region, it increases the possibility of internal turmoil. This may even cause the Kadyr0v administration to end at any moment. Another supporter of Russia is Belarus, as it is known. Consolidation of relations and the increase in mutual aid between the two leaders in recent days has mobilized many countries. Scope of the war is getting wider. Positive developments on the Ukrainian side affect the course of the war critically. As Russia has increased its attacks on infrastructures and made remarkable statements about the use of risky weapons in recent days, it is taking many countries against it. According to last-minute statements, NATO countries took action. According to the statements, NATO armored vehicles departing from Latvia and Lithuania are being sent to the Belarusian border. This may be due to the possibility of Russia having joint plans with Belarus in the last days. It was also reported that French military convoys entered Romania. Such a move towards Romania, which is the border neighbor of Ukraine, reveals an important issue. This shows that there are countries waiting at the border in case Russia intensifies the violence of a possible war. He had previously deployed many of the United States armies in Romania. All this shows that there is a great preparation in Romania and that the countries are ready. At any moment, the course of the war can turn into a completely different state. In these days when the war is of critical importance, a senior official from Ukraine emphasized that the procurement of weapons and air defense systems from the West is very important for Ukraine to hit the required targets. Especially if new and planned weapons and ammunition come from the United States, the Ukrainian army can start a successful counterattack against the three countries. Three countries we are talking about are Iran, Belarus, and Russia. It has been leaked that Iran may be making close deals with Russia, especially in recent days. Especially the agreements that Iran and Russia may have made in Syria may come to the fore. It is seen that Putin, especially the Russian army in Syria, has called to Ukraine. Thus, the space emptied from Russia may be expected to be filled by the Iranian army. At the same time, new developments regarding the relations between Israel and Ukraine continue to occur. Israel has always avoided providing military support in this war that has been going on for a long time. Nachman Shai, the Minister of Diaspora Affairs of Israel, stated that it was time for Israel to provide aid to Ukraine, like the United States and NATO, as information spread that Iran would send missile aid to Russia. After this statement, Russia did not hesitate to respond. Dmitry Medvedev, chairman of the Russian Security Council, announced that if Israel provides military aid to Ukraine, all relations between Russia and Israel will be destroyed. On October 18th, Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz and Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov announced that they were planning to hold a phone call on October 24th, but the meeting was cancelled. On October 19th, Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz announced that Israel would not provide weapons to Ukraine, but could provide an early warning system it could use for impending missile and drone strikes. It can be guessed that the reason for Israel's retreat was its unwillingness to be involved in the war and the threat of Russia. On October 20th, Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba held a telephone conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. In this phone call, it was announced that Iranian-made drones and military aid to Ukraine were discussed. Now, the last statements came from the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky himself. Zelensky addressed Israel in his speech. Zelensky declared that Israel now has to choose who it is with and that Ukraine will not give up the fight. He stated that the purpose of the struggle of Ukraine is to liberate its lands, security, and peace. While Israel is hesitant to help, Ukraine continues to receive the support of other countries. New talks took place between the United States of America, one of the countries where Ukraine received the most critical aid, and Ukraine. Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov held a telephone conversation with the United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin on Monday. Topic of the meeting is reported to be the next U.S. security aid package. Reznikov announced that the details will be shared later. United States last announced a military aid package of $725 million on October 14th. It was shared that during Joe Biden's administration, the United States of America gave a total of more than $18.3 billion in military aid to Ukraine. It is also known that these aids were very important in shaping the war. Therefore, if Ukraine is to gain an advantage, aid should be increased as soon as possible. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine shared the latest losses of Russian forces. Ukraine announced that Russian forces destroyed 6 artillery systems, 1 multi-barreled rocket system, 9 unmanned aerial vehicles, 11 armored combat vehicles, and 6 tanks. In addition, the Ukrainian Air Force carried out 11 attacks. 11 clusters of weapons and military equipment of the Russian forces were destroyed. Air defense units also announced that they shot down 12 Iranian-made Shahed-136 unmanned aerial vehicles. At the same time, Ukraine's rocket and artillery units reported that they hit 4 ammunition depots, an anti-aircraft missile system, 4 command centers, 1 artillery firing position area, 5 clusters where Russian forces and military equipment are concentrated, and other important points. With such critical points damaged, Russia has to face huge losses. In the following days of the war, every step taken must be carried out in a much more strategic direction. Both countries have to allow no room for error. Otherwise, the other party can take advantage of this mistake. Countries need to be very careful now. Especially in these last days when the violence of the war has increased, every move must be chosen cautiously in order not to incur greater losses. If Ukraine continues its successful advances and critical strikes, it will achieve success much more quickly. On the other hand, if Russia cannot solve its problems, it will face bigger problems and it will be impossible to reach its goal. We will see more clearly how the war will take shape in the future. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.